Hey, guy. Hello out there. This is Robbie Strike for the Saturday Night live stream. Colin, computers, tech, Linux. Really, anything you want to call in, talk about, we can do that tonight. I should grab the link for that. I believe it's over here on my YouTube channel. Should have, if you're watching this on YouTube, you should be able to find a link in the description if you want to call in. Actually, there we go. I'll show you right here. So yeah, you just go to the call in live, and there'll be this link here, this restream link. Will I just open up the event thing? Yeah, I'll put that in the chat room as well. Make my webcam crash doing that. People are joining in here. All there we go. All right, so not a whole lot's happened in the world of satellite news, at least from what I know. I've been very busy this summer so far. It's been about a month since I've done a live stream, and things have happened in my life that have slowed things down dramatically. So things. I don't think there's much. I don't know if and it's, or maybe it's been a while, that a lot of the channels that are on 127 West, like Reels, and there's like a sitcom channel, I think they're all gone now. NASA, which is on 127, I'm talking about 127 West, CBand, moved transponders. So I've put my dish on 127 West, and I know I had to do a rescan to be able to get the channels to come in. And there has been within the last few months dwindling of channels. People always say, "Oh, we're always losing channels," and whatever. I'm still watching. The channels I watch are still there, and I actually use my satellite system probably a fair amount, mainly for news and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm happy with it. Also, there's this great invention that goes in hand with that, is the internet. And there's tons of videos you can find online. So pretty fun stuff with all that. I'm gonna just stop sharing that. There we go. So we got some people in the chat room. Thanks for joining in tonight. And turning in this channel. My camera tonight seems a little bit grainy, but we'll see. So we got Patrick joining us. We got Paul in here, Kevin, John, Trinity asks a question. Any update on Orbi TV? Just bring this over here to the shared screen. Not really, from what I can see. Whoops. Here, let me just figure out how to work that. Anyway, looking at their website, it's basically been pretty much where I was before with Orbi. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the. All right. I'll share my screen. So yeah, looking at their website, I'll bring that up. Same old. But when I did talk to rep from them, they said that not till mid-August. They're sort of just working on a soft launch right now. And it's the same amount of channels. But what I care about, the thing I really care about, is that there's more free satellite TV channels that are kind of like, we don't get Retro or Newsmax on that satellite, although I'd love to see Retro TV added to it. But this list here has not really been updated, so hopefully it will have more information on that. My ear just popped. So yeah, for Orbi TV, but not much more. Probably wait for the next few weeks. Unless someone's able to report something different. I haven't done a rescan on that satellite 117 West. I was just thinking, oh well, there'd be something posted up online. I'll see it if something's news up there. So yeah, I'm glad to see that there's another service, and I like what they're doing, but I probably won't be able to get it in my area because I'm in Canada. And looking over at TVROSAT, that's usually where a great source to go for any new channels. Not much in the new department there. I'm just looking at it here, and I don't see anything worth mentioning when it comes to the new channels. So yeah, stay tuned for more information about Orbi TV. I imagine that will probably happen within the next few weeks. We probably will see some something new on that. Oh, yeah, I guess I should wear my. I came down here and I didn't even put my headphones on. I'm gonna put my headphones on so when I take calls, I can. It won't feed back into the mic or do anything. Although I think with the service I use with Restream, it helps eliminate that. I didn't even do a sound check tonight. So we have.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey Kevin, how's it going? Your audio is like really.
Yeah, I'm using my gaming headset now, so.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? That's probably a better mic for like picking up audio. I can bring down your audio just a tad here.
Just a fair warning, I've been having like issues with my computer. I think it's the Ubuntu install that I had. It just completely froze up. So if that happens, I'm gonna use my laptop.
Right on, yeah. My microphone stand just fell right out of my head.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm wondering why I even bought this.
Bought what?
Bought my mic here.
Oh yeah. Looks professional, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done any setup. I actually hurt my knee, so I dislocated it. It was kind of painful.
Yeah, I that happened to me once, and it's really painful.
No wonder that I have a picture if you want to see it. This might not be for the faint of heart, more faint of heart or whatever, but is it my downloads?
I have to eat like this now because my tooth is like hurting like hell. So hey,
Yeah,
Patrick is in here.
Yeah, Patrick's in here. Okay. So here, it's not for the faint of heart. So if look away from the screen here, I'll show you what happened to me. So I was just walking on my basement floor where there's a corner, and I twisted my knee. And basically my kneecap kind of went there, and my leg went the other way. And yeah, I'm back walking now. Yeah, I just felt like I thought it broke my leg because it just bent the other way. And it was pretty disgusting. And my wife took a picture of me while I was laying on the floor. They're gonna turn that picture off. I know it's horrible. It's pretty nasty. And the thing is, I was yelling at my wife, "Don't take a picture of me!" But then afterwards, I'm like, "I'm posting that on Facebook."
Yeah. But hey, Robbie, at least it's not as bad as getting a broken nose.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I haven't had that. I haven't really had that happen. I had punched in the nose or slapped in my nose and it bled bad, but that's another story for another time. The North Coaster Hobby, Patrick's joined in here.
Hi, Robbie. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. Just trying to enjoy some summer weather, I guess.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. Yeah, I've been swimming. I went swimming today at the outdoor pool. Even though I'm like limping around, I'm not really limping. I got a knee brace for my knee now. I just sort of my muscles feel stiff.
Is it getting any better, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
That's good to hear.
I'm seeing physiotherapy. I was back to work this week, and I went camping this week. I mean, I went,
Nice.
you know, yeah. So we no one
Yeah,
thing.
that's right. You bought a mobile home.
Yeah, tent trailer. Yeah, we got a tent trailer, and I'll show you some pictures of what I was working around with. This is for the shortwave part of this. Is bring up. It's over here on Discord. This is how can I share videos from my phone to my live stream now? I was posted on Discord. Yeah, so there's the trailer, and as you can see, I put up an MLA 80 antenna. That's like for shortwave listening. So I brought my laptop out with me, and it was really a cool setup for my tent trailer.
Nice.
Because I used for poles, I use these two my roof rake. I have a metal roof, so what I use is a roof rake, and the poles are very useful. They're like 5 foot 5 foot poles.
Yeah.
So what I did was I used a clamp to just basically I have the antenna. It's like a circular antenna on a stick. Ran the cable in the tent trailer, and it was very easy to set up. And also the tent trailer has a zipper, so I could put my hand out of the tent trailer and turn the antenna. So
Nice.
it's good for the shortwave antenna. This would also work well with a directional over-the-air TV antenna if you were to bring a TV to a tent trailer. Now, nice campers, like the really nice ones that I wish I could get, they have like a little crank on the roof sometimes, and you could turn the antenna.
Yeah, that's one of my uncle just bought one of those.
Some of them have that crank, but some of them just nowadays, I think some of them are just putting on the round like omnidirectional, the
omnidirectional. Yeah, just the omnidirectional crappy antennas.
Those roof rake handles are good though. I've got one up here, and Thunder Bay we need one. And
where can I get like more of these things? These 5 foot roof
the extensions. You know what I did? I bought a roof rake from Home Hardware, and it came with 3 of them, so it's about 15, 16 feet long. And I was in there one day just looking at the shovels in the winter, and they had the extra extension pieces for like $10, and it just clips it. So I bought one extra one just to reach up
because masting is like next to impossible to find. Like the masting cables that you used to get for TV antennas, they'd be the same thing, 5 feet or whatever. You drop the poles into another one, you could extend them up to be about like however high you want, like 20 feet. Once you go about 4 sections, they'll tilt unless you're fastening it to a house or something. It's not a good idea. But what I like about poles compared to a tower is if you don't have to have it as your antenna is high, you can go out and turn your antenna to grab the pole and just sort of turn. Without a router, because in my case, I don't need a router to turn the antenna. I just got to get the antenna one spot, and I'm good to go.
You know what works good for poles actually is, the chain link fencing. You can get those 1.5 inch diameter pipes. They're 10 feet long, and they have like a swedged end that you can like the tapered end. You can slide into that another pole. And Home Depot sells them. And they're I use those, and they fit into tripods good, and you could put 2 of those together and get about 20 feet on the mast, so that wouldn't be bad.
That'd be 20 feet might be a little much for a mast. Like if you're going to go,
you could always cut. You could cut one though. You could cut one down to 5 feet and say have 15 feet, or just use one, and get it up 12 feet in the air or something, whatever you want. But Home Depot or big box stores, just go to the fencing section there, and they got lots of different posts like that, eh?
Right.
And they're not too bad priced either. They're cheaper than like buying pipes and stuff, steel pipes.
Yeah. That's we got the VHS background here.
I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah. Me too.
Vintage.
I love old VHS like covers. They're just so amazing.
Yeah. It's and I think that's a good idea. Maybe I'll look at that as a pull. I did like these pulls, the roof rake pulls. Even for a small antenna, it would be a good quick fix, especially for camping. You're bringing an antenna.
Oh yeah,
you want to
if
be
it's a
able to,
light antenna, it'll go up. It won't flex too much.
yeah,
Eh?
yeah. The one antenna I want to get, but I actually want a directional Yagi antenna for TV, like one of the. I was looking at the Telvis one that it's been redesigned for Antenna Man. Tyler Klein did a video on that, and he it looked like a really good antenna, really good design. Did a good video talking about that. Where that's probably the best antenna for my situation, where I'm in Canada and I'm trying to get a good directional UHF, mostly for UHF reception, to get it facing south. And I think that would work because what I'm using now works well, but I've been using it for over 10 years now, and it's one of those all-in-one antennas, like it looks like this flying saucer thing, is a saucer thing, but it's actually a directional antenna that moves on the inside of that saucer. Anyway, the motor's starting to just go crazy and always like not be in the position I want it to be. But I can still use the antenna, like if I were to I can use that one for camping because it's smaller. And the reason why I bought it, I used to live in an apartment.
Oh yeah,
more than 10 years ago, and I used to put it on my balcony. It was a smaller antenna, so it was a good antenna for your balcony, but not necessarily a good directional Yagi antenna, because I can get quite a few UHF channels, well, UHF and some VHF stuff.
I guess now with the with the UHF channels only going up channel 35 or 36, like a little tiny. You need a slightly bigger UHF antenna, I guess, as opposed to like before, when channels were up on the higher UHF frequencies. Maybe that's what the redesign was about or something.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Patrick, Kevin?
Yeah, are you talking about the analog days?
Well, like they used to have, like UHF channels used to go up higher, but then a lot of the sold to cell phone companies. So
at one time there used to be like
or something,
80 or something UHF channels.
Yeah, he went all the way up to channel 83 back in the.
The thing I love about analog is that you could pretty much use anything to get channels.
Yeah. Well, if you're in a strong signal area, you could use, like, you could have just a.
Yeah.
Somebody has a question here in the comments. Do you? Let's bring it up here. Do you know of any non-American, non-Canadian, non-British TV channels? Like the channels that are on Galaxy 19, I guess. I don't know if that's. If you're looking for international channels, I'd say Galaxy 19 is your best bet. And it's kind of one of the sad things. It is true that there's a lot of international channels on Galaxy 19. But a lot of people, they look at free to air and they look at Galaxy 19 and they think that's what free to air is like a bunch of international and religious channels. And they don't look at like other satellites, like even with KU band, like 103 West, or where there's other
there's tons of
on 117 West CBand, 117 West CBand, there's about probably 60 or 70 Spanish channels. If anyone's looking for channels from like Mexico, Ecuador,
there's
Central America.
Yeah,
so
there's channels from all over the place. Yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing it too, like the programming, how they do news, and it may be Spanish, it might be Portuguese or something like that from South America. So there's another question here, as Tiffany Lee asks, what's the difference between a large and a small dish? I want to purchase a large Tech 2000. I'm just ignoring the chat rooms. If you're gonna chat with me, just chat with me in the Yahoo, not Yahoo, YouTube. I'm tired. YouTube. Because if someone chats in the private chat, I just click away because it blocks everything. But I have a small dish for one Sat Pro. What is better? Best dish to get is a C-band dish, but unfortunately, I'm not sure, unless I'm wrong. I haven't looked at. I haven't looked at
Tech 2000.
Tech 2000 in a while.
Mm.
All right. We have a Charles joining us.
How you doing, Robbie?
Hey, how's it going, Charles? Where are you calling
from? North Carolina. I got some news for you. You know the V8 Sat Finder, the new one?
Yeah.
The orange one.
Yeah, they're orange.
Yeah. The big selling was it was USB-C, right? That was the big deal.
It charges with USB-C.
No, it doesn't. It's a USB-C plug. I tried 9 different USB-Cs on it. It doesn't work. Only the power supply that comes with it is the only thing that'll charge it.
Oh, really? You know what? I've only used that power supply. I haven't actually hooked it up to a cell phone charger. But you would assume that it would be USB-C, considering that would be like everything uses that, right?
Right.
And apparently in Europe, I guess that's the new standard. They're going to force Apple to start making USB-C phones because that's going to be a standard that they'll only allow them to sell one type of charger per cell phone. Anyway, who's making all the noise here? I can bring your audio down there.
Not me. I just muted it. My audio.
And
Hey, Patrick.
Patrick from the land of Quebec.
Hey, Patrick.
No foul language, Patrick, because
I want to try
video.
Oh, you did.
I got in trouble. And
you didn't get in trouble with me.
And now my videos are limited ad revenue stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, YouTube, for this new change.
You know, they say that foul language is the language of those who have not much vocabulary. That's the case. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm not outputting those words, those nasty words.
I'm not sure if that's why they limited the video, the last live stream we did. I don't know. I never know. They don't tell you what they don't like about the video. It's like, oh, it's been banned or it's been limited for monetization or whatever.
It's like their taste changes from day to day.
Yeah. So if you're watching YouTube, like, please let me know what, and I can fix it instead of just saying bad and like.
They will never do that. They're too low for that.
Honestly, like, I got a video copyright strike just because I used somebody's else video. It was sort of like a montage. It's really just somebody's dancing jazz hand, and I put a song from like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, but the big no-no with YouTube is to restream something else from YouTube. Technically, they will. That won't work with them.
Yeah, it's YouTube. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I mean, you gotta. Even at my church, when they do music sometimes, and they'll play a recording, and there's a recording by a big artist, and there's a recording from kind of a small artist. The big artist will get like, and if you don't have the license, because churches tend to have licenses, and they have streaming licenses and stuff like that. They pay for that. I can get a streaming license to use music. You can buy into those things, but I'm just not. I don't make enough money for that.
Hey, Robbie.
Yeah.
Back to the mass for your antennas. You know, you go to a pool supply place and buy a pool stick, not the one you shoot pool with, the one that you clean your pool with.
Yeah, for the netting. Yeah.
Right. It's 10 foot long and extends to almost 20 foot. And it's super, super light.
That's a good idea. That's actually my poles. My poles that I've been using are it's a roof rake, but it actually fits. The roof rake fits into the the pool mesh thing that you use to clean out the pool.
The net.
The net. Yeah, that's right. So I've been using it for that, and so it's but then I have to take it off the net and use it for when I go camping. Take it away for an antenna. But because I'm going to be testing a few different antennas, I wanted to get something that put it up, but not necessarily have to leave it up upstanding, especially during the wind. And that thing is so easy to take down. Like I had the MLA antenna, the shortwave radio antenna, the loop antenna, and then we had a lightning storm. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to take it down. It was like, I had it tied to the trailer. I didn't, just simply tied it to the trailer. There's a bike rack on it. And simply did that and had it down within minutes. Not even a minute, had it down. And so it's quick to put up and down. So it makes it easy just to get an antenna. If you're worried about lightning, you want to get it down before a storm comes in your area, or you can ground it too. I mean, you should, if you install antennas, get a good grounding rod and some copper wire and make sure it's grounded in it's a good investment. It's a worthwhile investment. Might even help the performance of your antenna a bit under certain situations. So keeps the static electricity away from your antenna, grounds it. So
I will be worried about lightning with a pool stick like that.
Yeah. You won't worry about lightning. I mean, I don't know. The telephone poles are higher. Trees are higher in my area. But yeah, you don't want to get lightning coming down your coax into your house.
That's a bad idea to do that.
Last time it happened with me, my neighbors and I, we all lost our HDMI port seat up. I didn't understand why, but that was the result of it. So in my case, I lost part of my computer, my switching, my HDMI switching, my one port on my TV, and
honestly,
it doesn't make sense, but I lose that. So
has anyone ever actually heard of anyone having a CBand or a satellite dish, or even like a direct to home service dish get hit by lightning and going in there?
Yes, my neighbor or my neighbor at my front neighbor actually had like a Bell dish, and it actually like struck down and it took off the building.
Is it because?
And after that, I think they switched to like Videotron, but I keep telling them, get a KU band dish.
I thought you will say you switched to Shaw and you never got strike again.
Oh yeah. One thing we mentioned Shaw there, so I guess Rogers. I haven't been live streaming. People were talking about this on Twitter about 2 weeks ago. Is how the Rogers had the outage, and then people couldn't pay for they couldn't do interact transactions. I
couldn't even get mail delivered to my place. I was waiting for my my power supply for my my laptop. When it finally arrived, like not even a week later, the power supply blew up. So I just rigged together a power
So if you don't know what we're talking about, I just wanted to go. So in Canada, there's two companies that really control the telecommunications. There's Bell and Rogers.
And Videotron.
And Videotron and Shaw. I mean, and Cogeco. But really, they're I mean, I guess in Canada, Videotron's Quebec, mostly Quebec. I think Cogeco used to be in some areas.
It's still.
Yeah, and there's I don't know if is there any Rogers in Quebec.
Yeah,
for cable, no.
Oh, okay,
not
Rogers.
Cable, but...
Yeah. Rogers is kind of Ontario, maybe the rest of Canada. Our Newfoundland friend has Rogers. I haven't heard from him in a while. Trevor. He was talking about, he's done a video about the Ignite box, which I think has done well for him. But anyway, Rogers went down, and basically Rogers is the big they're a cable company, but they're also a cell phone company, like cell provider, and they're also for across Canada, they're cell phone across Canada, but they're not. Cable service is not across Canada. And what else do they have? Their cable.
Don't they have their own security service? I know TELUS had that.
I think Rogers used to have a security service, and I imagine they probably still do, because the old security service would just plug it into the cable.
I forget what it's called. Videotron did one time. It's like they're going to this business, and they never kept those kind of business. I think it's not for them most of the time.
Or they just contracted it out to a different company, because I think Rogers first had a company called Unitel, and that was like one of their early competitors to Bell, is when they were moving into the telephone companies. This is before they really monopolized most of what is in Canada. So the big controversy right now is that Rogers is buying Shaw. I've done a video about that. Is Rogers buying Shaw? And
wait. Sorry to cut you out, but Rogers is buying Shaw.
You talk about this for a long time and never see the news of it.
I don't really watch
it. Needed Industry Canada or CRTC approval to go through. I don't know where they're at with that. I don't know how all that stuff works. A lot of the consumers don't really want to have that move. They don't want to allow.
I don't see how they can allow that with Rogers, like with their whole system being so fragile.
Yeah,
I mean, how can they allow that? Like,
I remember when I had Bell, and like the internet would go out like very frequently. It was a shit service, and then also like the TV, just forget about it. The dish was too small.
Guys, I'm not sure that the outage from Rogers was or it's not about the internet backbone, or they're part of the internet backbone compared to what they're providing as an internet service provider, because it seems like it's what's behind what we get from as internet. It doesn't seem to be as a internet provider the problem. Is it right?
I don't know what. It's little.
They did admit.
They did admit. It was hilarious though. Rogers admitted, and then we're going to refund people a day of for a day or two for that was a hilarious thing. So people pay the suckers. I'm sorry, but you're suckers. You pay Rogers $200 a month for cable and internet.
Thank you, Robbie.
Yeah. And you don't get, but
here's a big word.
You're a sucker to Rogers, and you don't go to start.ca and pay like half that price, or even other companies like National Capital Freenet and pay like a lot less for internet, and you get everything on the internet. Get an IP TV or an IP phone for a lot cheaper than what most people just go to Rogers. And Rogers is like kind of like, hey, we're gonna give you telephone, internet, and cable, and you're gonna love it. Like when they're marketing and all that.
You're gonna love it. We even, you know what? I'm not gonna use that joke. I was gonna say the P word.
I was talking on our other live about telecommunication, and the problem with all that is marketing. In fact, it's just a matter of marketing. They're using marketing to sell you stuff you don't need in telecommunication. Like here, before we're gonna go to with the fiber soon, I hope. They were talking about giving us some kind of Y Max because like it's what we want. My God. And now we will have fibers. They are still putting up the cable, but that's what we need. We need more bandwidth. We don't need bandwidth over the air,
Oh yeah, more like take away more UHF channels and adding. Well, I mean, Starlink and now Amazon wants to get into using all the airwave spectrum for more satellite internet.
The spectrum, the airways as a mean of transportation for or data is the cheapest way they can make money. not by putting fiber optic to the home, but still, like here in Quebec, where we we have the government who is funding the new installation. So we're gonna have what we want. But as usual in Quebec, we get what we want if we pay for. So the province of Quebec is paying a bill for giving us fiber optic. So we got in the region far away where I am, I'm gonna have FTTH, fiber to the home. Before my friend in Montreal, 1 year before my friend, he's still and will be still in for a year on FTTN, fiber to the node. So
that means like all the rural areas throughout Quebec will be fiber. It'll be basically, I mean, like that's where they need to go.
1.5 gigahertz. Great.
I think on DSL.
I'm still on the DSL right now, and to be in the right circa with my camera, I still own an old ball Logitech here I'm using right now. That's why I'm so laggy.
Honestly, I'm just too lazy to actually buy another camera. I just spent like $1,000 on fixing my car.
Cars cost a lot to repair these days.
Yeah, because of rust underneath the car. I have to do it completely.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to buy another car and have the exact same issues. I just said, you know what, do it.
Now I own 2 cars just to get one for winters. It's help. I own a 2012 Civic and a 2011 Volkswagen, and I use my Volkswagen. What?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's not diesel. And this 2000, this Volkswagen, I use it on winter. If I want to beat up one car with rust and snow and stuff like that, I will beat up the Volkswagen. Not the Civic, not the Civic.
Yeah, use a Volkswagen for that. Those are good for that.
They're good for that. They're really good car for winter. You have heat with your seat and 4 doors, and it's slow as hell. So the engine is slower than my Civic on this, so it's perfect for winter. It's perfect for winter. But we should get back to SATs and stuff like that.
Yeah, because we're gonna piss off a little bit too much.
We're gonna lose the audience on this.
You know what I keep wondering about? Speaking of satellite, you were talking about Orbi earlier, Robbie.
Yeah. I
wonder if, like, come August, we are going to see some more channels added. Like, since they've taken the retro and Heartland mucks off of 113 West CBand, I keep wondering if they're going to add that to 117 West KU. Like, they already have Heartland on there, right?
Yeah, it's
yeah. So, and they've got those channels.
If you want the eyeballs, I mean, for that iHeart stuff, or whatever the company is there.
Get After It Media there.
Get After It, yeah. At least the way they used to be, they wanted eyeballs. They wanted, watching their shows. They wanted like backyard satellite dishes, and then there used to be channels like that. They were geared toward wanting to have their content, seen. But it seems like now it's like broadcasters, they don't want people knowing that they're on the antenna. They want their cable revenue. But that business is just, that business is dying. Mm-hmm. I mean, they do have the elderly population, but a lot of the younger population, they're losing them big time. So it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, I think they're trying to hang on to that retransmission revenue as long as they can until they can get something else in place to kind of, make up for it, I guess.
Yeah, but, I mean, a channel like that, I guess, would be like TLC or any of the Discovery Network stuff. They would want.
Oh my god, why is TLC still a thing?
I don't know. I haven't watched it in years. I imagine they still have Say Yes to the Dress, and I do know they have the roll-offs, the Little People, Big World. That was a show I liked. That was why I watched TLC.
I watched that show too. I really liked it. There's shows like
I mean,
it's interesting. TLC. Nobody calls it the Learning Channel anymore, though.
No,
nothing to learn there. There's nothing to learn there.
Not for 20 years, anyways.
Yeah, at least
It's just an acronym now for nothing.
There's a reason for that. There's nothing to learn there anymore.
Just brand recognition.
Remember when TNN was the Nashville network?
Yeah, Nashville, Spike.
And then it became Spike, but then for a while it was the National Network.
Yeah,
they
that's
dropped
right. It was.
And then for a while it was TNN. I remember when they first put ECW on it, and they kind of rebranded it a little bit.
Yeah.
And they had Roller Jam, this roller derby show on Friday nights. It
They
was
had
kind of
the MXC Extreme Sports.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, and they had ECW wrestling for a while.
Yeah,
mid 2000s.
Yeah,
yeah.
I always wondered why there wasn't like Smoky Mountain Wrestling, because it was the Nashville network, and Nashville is like, Tennessee, and always thought. So that was one reason why I always wanted a satellite in the early 90s, is because you can get Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But the cool thing with that is you can actually watch all those episodes on YouTube now, and you can see that someone's watching a CBand dish in one of those too, because they're adjusting their dish halfway through one of the episodes. And you can see the the on-screen thing for moving
from the old analog receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those were the days when the producer were sending their tapes to the head diffusion system. Often it was on CBand, and those days were how long gone. But remember, those days you have someone, the editor or someone else, that was running with the tapes minute before getting to air to get to the
another thing they used to do is the satellite used to transmit the tapes, the raw feeds, or the edited, and they'd send it to be like rebroadcast or whatever.
Oh, is it like through? Oh yeah.
Didn't they used to do that at high speed and analog at one point, or did they?
I don't think that's possible technically.
That was tried. It never took. It never took.
Yeah.
Did they still use?
I just remember there was a tape system, I think, with DV cam that you could dub at 4-speed, but never heard of broadcasting anything at 4 speeds.
They used to have the audio tape duplicators, where these duplicator machines, you put the tape in, it would like make copies really fast.
In the audio world, it's possible, but it's been done only one time for, I think, DV-Cam and stuff, and probably because they were copying the digital signal instead of the video.
So they didn't do that when they mass produced VHS home video tapes.
Our system to mass produce those tapes were dubbed real time, but there were a lot of recorders for sure.
Yeah, they used to be just decks and decks of them. Sorry, go ahead there.
Channels still use like the satellite on the van. Like they would use like they still do.
They still do, but it's not used that much anymore. I remember most of the time when they use that, it's because the event is national. But for local news and state level, they don't use satellite much anymore.
Yeah, I remember that was like this was like the hot shit. Oh, sorry for the language, Robbie. I'm so sorry.
For the Xers, that was a hot shit. Oops, sorry.
Hey, Leo, how's it going?
You can still see those trucks running up and down the highway with the little antenna dish on it and the telescopic mast.
Hey, Leo, how's it going?
Hi, Leo.
You got your mic on there, Leo? All right, Quebec. You're out of the penalty box.
Yeah, I saw that. I shall not repeat eggplant for that.
I give you that English is not your first language, but YouTube might not understand that,
Yeah, let me retry that. Yeah. I remember when that was like really like, oh my god, that is so mind blowing. With the the van with the satellite on the top, and now it's like dated technology.
Yeah, it's kind of
pretty-
dated. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't use that now. Like pretty much, you just have to have like a wireless internet connection
Yeah.
that would be fast enough to be able to send.
It's fast, but it's not reliable enough, and the delay is over the is
Oh,
hell,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
So
I'm surprised this service we're using, Restream, is synced up pretty decently.
you should see the price on those backpack that are made for broadcaster for the NG news camera. Those backpack to to broadcast. They use, I think, 8 or 12 cellular network at the same time. And those pack are pricey and reliable, but you're having, my God, three cellular phone provider at least to make it work. So if not,
Hey, got a satellite comment here from Jason. Says that my motor is broken on my dish, is stuck on SES2 until the new one arrives. Enjoying your live streams from Wisconsin.
It's not a bad satellite to be stuck on.
Yeah, is there much? I don't know. I never
That's
watched that one.
87 West.
Oh, that's actually a decent one.
Yeah, PBS and
the news feeds and
news feeds. Yeah, so that's not too bad to be stuck there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You can remove the back of this motor and put a drill in it. It's gonna work.
Is it? Well, is he talking about one of those, the HH motors or the KU band motors? Now, if it's a C-band dish, even with my C-band, or one of my dishes that have an actuator on it, you could actually just loosen the actuator, where it holds to the dish, and just I'd push the pull in or out and move your dish to a different satellite manually. You'd have to have.
That's why I move mine by hand. I'm afraid of the actuator getting frozen up here.
Oh yeah, in the summertime.
No, I mean in the winter.
Oh, in the winter, yeah.
In the summertime, we're okay. I can go out there and move it around, but usually in the winter, I just leave it on 101 or 103 or something.
I typically like the park when we're like minus double digit. Like some people say, "Oh, your dish will work," but I'm like, my old dish used to get jammed up on me when it got cold. But that was like the big heavy. Really, those weren't that heavy either.
I have a question.
I think to answer the guy before, I will tell you that most of the time those actuators broke down. So I'm not surprised by it. The HA motor always broke down. I understand. So
I've had not the HH, but the other one. It lasted me about 10 years, maybe, and then it died. But also it blew down a few times because I put it up on a tripod and then all of a sudden crash under the wind or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
My satellite dish is just like hold up to a my gardening stand with some cheap screws and it's holding up like.
Oh yeah. Well, that was one thing when I went camping. I thought, well, if my trailer, could I put a satellite dish on the roof? But then when I realized, when you go camping, typically you're way out in the woods, and I did see campers, like the really expensive campers with those satellites I tell people not to buy, the tailgaters
ones,
or the tailgaters and all that, and they're just small, and they had a really small tail. That's not going to work very well for you out there.
I installed those back some years ago. I installed those for the big white one for Shaw Direct. They have it cost about $2,000 with installation. You put that on $200,000 RV, and the guys will press a button on his remote and the dish will find the satellite itself. It's so funny to use it.
Those little motorized like tailgaters and all that, those things though, they only have to get circular signals, so that's why they can be smaller too, eh?
Yeah, not exactly. They work with Shaw Direct also. It's not the same, but there are some that do work with.
I've seen the ones for Shaw Direct, and they're larger.
Those ones are bigger, but I'm talking about the Bell and Direct TV ones.
Yeah, those are like the tailgater
or dish.
And they'll only go to the satellites that are programmed in it, so they'll only go to Dish Network satellites.
It's like a proprietary dish, just like their proprietary receiver, basically.
Yeah. So it's like
At this point, take a shovel and an LNB, and it's gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna take, what I always recommend for camping is buy a good satellite meter. Like a Sathero is the best, and just get a tripod and throw your dish up on that, and you should be good as long as you don't have trees. I mean, that's another thing with camping. When people want to take their satellite camping with them, it's like, well, if they got trees, they're going to have extra coax cable and a tripod out somewhere where there is a line of sight, because the trees won't. It won't work through the trees.
It's about what I'm doing with my CBand dish actually, because I had it by the road, because too much trees there. I can see nothing anywhere except from just by the road under the utility cable. So,
but you always need firewood, so you can, those trees can come and use.
Yeah, at least at least if time gets hard, I will have some firewood. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yep.
Maybe that's a good idea. I should have some firewood so I can see so I can put my dish somewhere else. But
you could use that wood for anything, pretty much.
in my case, with the winter I can tell you I'm better off with firewood.
Yeah, I haven't really made a fire.
If I remember here, it's get to minus 35 degrees Celsius here easily. So I can tell you that sometimes the base plate are not enough, and the meter is switching off. So it can tell you that winters are hard here.
Yep.
When your base plate stop working because the thermostat is shutting down.
Anyway, Jason's responded here. I know it's like a delay when I'm talking to you with the chat comments. So like sometimes I'll write something and I've done this on other live streams too, where I'm talking with people and they're like, it takes like maybe 5 minutes to really hear a response from them. So he has a 90 centimeter KE dish with an HH motor, and if it were working, he'd be scanning for feeds. I'm too lazy to fiddle with it. Well, there's a new one coming. Yeah, it's
those are hard to fiddle with.
No,
open.
Yeah, they're very, very like all sealed up tight. Those I have another one in. The problem, and I talked about this in the video where I set up the motor, is they're aluminum screws, so don't tighten them too tight. Almost just leave them a little bit loose, because you don't want those screws to break on you. Those bolts, I guess, when you put it into the
whole bracket is cast aluminum. Like you could snap one of the like the holes off, and then you can't bolt it in, eh?
Yeah. And I actually had one where I was one of the bolts was broken, but I was still using it as it still worked, but it was probably a little bit off because it wasn't getting 4 points of contact onto the pole.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't saw your video, but I'm still like asking myself, what's the school of thought with those actuator? Do you put it down or up? Because I'm using mine up with an extension for my big dish, but I see some people put it down, so I'm kind of
it depends on the model of the motor.
Okay.
Some motors just hang down, and you'll know that it's like, because the like for the one I use, it's kind of holds the pole comes down and the dish it hangs on it, right?
Yeah.
And the cables go up, so you connect the cables up from underneath, so when the water runs off the cables, it doesn't run into the.
Well, also the pole on those things is angled, eh?
Yep.
So if like some of them, if they're angled, if it's angled too much and you put it up, your dish will be pointing at the ground almost. Then your declination and all that's gonna be messed up.
Yeah.
I own the big HH 120, if I remember. I think it's the big one, and I was using it some year ago. I was using it up, but I cannot use it anymore. I don't find any SAT. I don't. Do you have to? I think if I remember, the dish should be level to this mass. So I'm not sure. Is that right?
Well, the mast has to be plumb, and then the angle on the motor arm, that that angle factors into your declination when you're setting the dish up, because you have to preset your actual dish elevation coupled with your declination to get that right. Otherwise, you're going to be way off the arc.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
your declination is like basically what would be the
it's like an offset.
If you didn't well, basically it's the setting on the dish that would be your normal elevation angle, but because it's on a motor, that it still moves, and then you actually move that for your declination angle on the dish.
So your dish should be parallel to the arm of the actuator. Is that right?
Yeah.
Your dish was
the back of the dish with his system, it should be parallel to the actuator on the motor, to the arm of the motor.
The declination angle, like the angle of the dish arm, the angle of the motor arm coupled with the elevation of the dish has to put you on your true south satellite. That should add up to your true south satellite elevation, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then if you get that right and your pole is plumb and your skew set at 0, then theoretically you should be tracking the arc.
Okay.
But every motor arm is a little different, I think. That's why when you get a motor, you have to look in the manual and see what the declination. There's usually a table for declination, and also and everyone's a little different, eh? So you might have to use the formula that they give you to set that.
But what I did was I used the formula, and then it was still off by a little bit, so I had to.
I use my meter too.
Well, it's so hard. Like the numbers that are printed on the dish, it's like it's like a fraction. It's a millimeter. Like
that's a ballpark. Yeah,
it's a ballpark. So like what I found is what. I actually did mess around with the declination angle, like the dishes angle.
Oh yeah,
and that's how I was able to get the full arc, especially while using U cells. When I used U cells, I was amazed because I was able to get all the way to like 20 or like the 30 west stuff, all the way to the 125 west.
Nice,
and I would track the whole arc. Using U cells, but you have to almost like let off on unscrew the dish a bit and just fix that angle just right. And you got all the satellites, and they all came in really good. Like I was getting satellites coming in like 90 west, 99 west has a transponder that's tough to get. And a few of the other ones that have like weak, they feel like they're weak, but they were coming in like perfectly all of a sudden because you had the dish just angled just right.
See, mine like where I am, it's kind of weird because my true south is 89 west, and at the time there was nothing on 89 west KU, so I just set it up on 87, and I ended up just using Dissect 1.2 for most of my satellites, and I dialed them in. But it's funny because a few of them I could use U cells and get a good signal on, so it's kind of a mix for me. But I used my portable Sathero, and that was a big help too to get that.
87, I think, was my closest true south sat, because that was another thing you have to try to when you set it up is find your closest true south sat to get your first signal with the setup. So I used 87 west in my area.
You're lucky. You're lucky because it's gonna tell me where I'm living, but. In my case, it's 72, so I don't have anything since 2006 there.
No. I mean, that's the closest one for me. But yeah, mine probably is something like that too. But I actually had to move to a satellite that was like slightly off from where that would be.
And if you're I got a question for you guys. How is it changed anything the protocol you're using? Because it has nothing to do on what your actuator is capable of. You're just switching protocols to talk to it. That's my question. How usual make any thing difference compared to Dissect? What's the difference?
Well, like Dissect 1.2, you're manually dialing in a satellite. like you're finding a strong transponder on a satellite, and then you're just using the commands in the menu there to move back and forth east to west till you get a good signal, and then you save it at that particular point.
Mm-hmm.
And U cells, you're using your location. So in theory, if you get your dish set up perfect on your true south with U cells, you should be able to hit every single satellite on the arc, eh?
Because they're
Those
recording
are,
the position of every
yes, yeah.
set.
U cells is like a set of commands that basically uses your location to calculate where to stop the dish at each satellite.
But with U cells, if you set that up in your receiver and you're not set up, or you're having an error with your motor,
yeah,
it is such a pain, because it says moving. It'll say move to satellite.
Yeah.
And so I always want to turn that off on my meter, because it will every time the menu will pop up and block you and interrupt the receiver, that it's it's either moving satellite or looking for a signal.
Yep.
And unless you have it set up,
Dissect is the same. It's the same with
Dissect.
Dissect.
The same, yeah. If you have it programmed in for Dissect, it will be the same thing.
If you're moving from one set to another, it will stop you for a moment, so it can move and follow you on your remote. So it's a pain.
You know, another little trick I use though is with U cells is I'll just have the dish. I'll just drive it with U cells and then watch the signal meter, and then and then I can see if I'm picking up the satellite or not. And then if I know it's there, then I'll just drive it back with Dissect 1.2 and lock the position in. And another tip too, I was going to say earlier about U cells with location, is when you're putting in your latitude and longitude, sometimes if you just adjust the decimals a little bit, like for example, 48.12 versus 48.13, little tiny tweaks like that can help to kind of put you back in line if you're a bit off too, eh? Because then it uses your location to calculate the points on the arc for each satellite. So sometimes making those little adjustments too can help with that. But it's all like a lot of playing and experimenting, eh?
Well, one thing I'm wondering about doing with my install, I have it on a tripod on my deck, but I think what I want to do is get a heavy duty a mount for the dish and have it get it so it's plump. But my worry is if I attach it to the house, I got a metal roof, so the snow falls off and will hit the dish, and so I don't want that to happen. So
I put mine on the deck, and I just screwed mine down to the deck.
Yeah,
to keep it in place.
Want the real estate back for my kids to have more room.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
And I do have the other dish, the 3-footer, not 3-footer, the 4-footer.
Okay,
but I usually leave that one parked on 99 West.
I've been having issues like getting any satellite dish from my on my satellite dish. I don't know if it's the LNB that it's bad.
Is it a Shaw dish? What kind of dish do you have?
A Shaw dish.
Oh, okay.
I have I think I have 2 or 3 of them in my shed, and I don't know anyone in my area that is into free satellite TV. That want for free satellite TV. And I'm a Christian. I go to church, and I told people, hey, I got, you can get these Christian channels, a Christian movie. No, they're not interested.
They want to keep paying.
No one cares anymore with streaming. No one cares anymore.
Yeah, it comes down to
honestly, that. I just want satellite dish just to toy around with it.
I have
the funny thing is, though, is people will pay for cable, but then they also pay for Netflix and Crave and whatever else. They pay for all these streaming services on top of the cable bill. I don't understand that.
They want the serendipity effect, but you don't get the serendipity effect on commercial television anymore. You need a big dish like we do to find new stuff.
I think it's gratifying to be able to grab free signals out of the air. That's what I find gratifying.
That's our case. We all think that. We all think that. But for the normies are not the same,
Well, a lot of the free satellite TV channels are probably on the internet too, but I don't care. Like, I'd rather be able to watch them on satellite than on the internet, because that way there's a level of privacy with that, because
there's privacy, and also a lot of people, when you're streaming and you have like, data limits and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't really, you got to watch out for how much data you're using on internet, whereas on satellite TV you don't have to worry about that. Plus it's more private.
Also, another thing also that I like about satellite TV is that it's like separate from your router, so you're not using bandwidth with it.
No, but the problem with the streaming is that you kind of need your own router for that, because you need to put a VPN on it, and if the rest of your internet doesn't have the same location, will need to have another location. Maybe you will be in the state for your television, and you need to be in Canada for other stuff. So you need two routers to put the VPN on it, because you have a VPN on a you have your streaming device with Wi-Fi. You cannot hook it to the RG44 cable.
And there's
sounds too complicated for me.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated. So, like you said, so we find the CBand much more easy to use.
So, North Coast. So, have you found the top antennas you've been reviewing in the sponsored videos? Are they any good? Or what would you say? Because I think they're going after a bunch of us and giving us antennas now. So
yeah, I've noticed that, and that was it was cool to do and everything. Like the omnidirectional antenna I reviewed, in my area, I'm only about 8 or 9 miles from the broadcast towers, so I don't have a lot of channels to test them on, But I mean, they pick everything up good for me, and all I can do is, because all I get is VHF, I can presume that they're going to do well with UHF, because they are on the smaller side, but they've got a lot of nice features. Like they work without the power supply, which because that's a big one. Like if your power supply blows, they both do. They both work without it.
That's one of the reasons, because that's a good antenna for the trailer, because it just fits. It packs easy, and it's not going to break. Like a directional Yagi, which is usually the best antenna, but to pack it in a trailer is not the most practical thing. It's
the thing about the big boy antenna is I like it. It's got really good VHF reception, and I'm sure it would do really well with UHF. It's just my own thing about that though is the VHF elements on it that screw onto the sides. I wouldn't, if I had a trailer, I would not want to leave that up there. I would mount it like when I got to my site. So in that regard, I would say probably a UFO type omnidirectional might be better if you want to have something you can leave on top of a trailer, unless you take an antenna with you and either mount it up there or take a tripod or something.
Put it on the pole and then you just put
or just the pole. Yeah, exactly.
The pole, what I like about the pole is I can turn it.
Yeah, for 100%. I mean, it depends. Like if someone wants to put an antenna up there and not have to worry about aiming it, I would say get an omnidirectional. But the big boy one would be good if you're going to put it on a pole and aim it. I just wouldn't leave it on top of the trailer because it's about 2 feet high, and I wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to go clipping that with like a going under a bridge or something.
So to show you what we're talking about, for those,
they're actually really good antennas. I was actually pretty impressed.
Yeah,
they
actually show it on
it looks so cheesy. It works.
It kind of looks like, kind of reminds me of the cone head for some reason.
The UHO one, the UFO one looks cheesy with the one on the top.
Yeah, the UFO one that they sent me does not have that. It's just a nice smooth top. It doesn't have that little cone thing on the top. So I like that.
I can see that confusing for some people.
Okay, Leo, you're audio just came in like really
You're
hot.
It's
coming so hot, but you're not that hot.
if it's a like an omnidirectional antenna is good if you're just looking to put up an antenna and not have to aim it.
Is
You
that
know, but you're not
trash
going to be
can?
you're not going to get every single channel probably with an
They said
omnidirectional. You're probably going to pick up the major stations in the area.
They sell the flat antennas, but I you know what, I did like I bought a flat antenna. I bought one like cheap, like at a thrift store, like Claire TV, just to see how it works. And what I would say about that is basically is that the cheap and the flat antennas. I mean, if you're in an apartment and you're right in the middle of a city and there's TV stations really close to you, and you don't want anything that's like a pair of rabbit ears. Like I used to in my apartment, I used to have a pair of rabbit ears up on my windowsill, and I had it stretched out, and I got channel 11.
Yeah.
So I had one like a pair of rabbit ears for channel 11, and I had a UHF antenna for a bunch of the UHF channels.
Like a loop.
I used to have a loop, yeah.
Loop I got a couple I bought recently at Value Village. They were still brand new, like sealed in the packages from someone's old TV, and I couldn't resist. So
I hope it's less than $1.
Oh yeah,
they were only a couple bucks, but those flat antennas, I know they get a bad rap, but they're really you're only gonna pick up strong signals.
To be honest, they're not. You know, they're not.
I can get channel 9 TVO in the house with it, and that's it.
Anyone watching,
it won't pick up anything past that.
Do not buy the antenna that you plug into your electrical outlet and use the ground of your house as an antenna.
Oh, that is dangerous.
No, don't do that.
Hey, you're joking about this, but we actually had a person on the forums that was keep on advertising those things on the satellite forum.
Yeah, that's not good.
I got a question for you guys. Can you demystify this for me? What I don't get is those channels we used to have in analog that are on the VHF band, the 14 and down. Are they still VHF in digital?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have. All we get in Thunder Bay is VHF channels 2, 4, and 9.
Yeah.
They're all digital, and that's it.
So if I get a channel that is below 14, it's VHF, is it right?
It's channel 13 and below is VHF.
13 and below is VHF.
Yeah, you got low band is channels 2 to 6, which you normally need a very big antenna, like you need elements 6 to 8 feet long.
Oh,
if you're far away.
So if I have a channel that I cannot receive, that is actually 6.0 here in Canada, we don't have 0.1 and such.
Yeah.
So I have the channel 6 here. I cannot receive at all if I'm not in the actual city. Here right now, I'm about 40 kilometers from the.
What size antenna are you using?
Oh, those cheap ass long rabbit ears we all use.
Okay, so you're gonna need an outside antenna probably.
And directional also, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, have you tried a pair of long rabbit ears outside?
Yeah, I tried outside. I don't receive anything, but
nothing?
You gotta remember nothing. But you gotta remember there's a mountain and all area.
No, so you're gonna need like a long range antenna, because you're not only dealing with distance, you're dealing with a lot of signal refraction there from varying land terrains. So you're going to need something bigger.
The region is known for that, at the point where some people are getting the amateur radio license just to
get a tower.
No, just to get hunting or fishing, because they're gonna lose their cellular network at the right moment. They put the foot out. But I see your point there. So the lower the channel is, the
bigger the antenna you need. It's like C-band, lower frequency, bigger dish.
At this point, I didn't know it was a factor that matters.
See, I'm lucky.
The same band. It's the same band. It's what I don't get. It's the same.
No, because the frequency, like channel 2 is 57 megahertz, and like for example, channel 9 is like 189 megahertz. So it's like as the frequency gets higher, it's a smaller size antenna you need.
There's
right?
a good range there on this
And,
band.
yeah, and the other thing with your channel 6 is you've got your channel 6 is right on the edge of the FM band.
Yeah, right.
So you could be also
in the old days, I got the audio.
Yeah, do you get FM radio where you are?
Yeah, and I got the old analog days when they were broadcasting in analog. We received the audio on the FM radio. Channel.
Some car radios are like better than like your house radios and all that. Like they're usually built pretty well radios. Those.
You get good tuners in a lot of cars.
The tuners in cars,
especially AM.
My Dodge that I drive, it has like I hear stations, but in my work vehicles, I don't get.
Yeah. My trucks, I got a Chevy truck, and the radio, that's the stock radio. I love it because I can pick up rock stations from Michigan, which are across Lake Superior, like 100 miles away. On a good day, I get lots of Michigan FM stations, and then at night I get a ton of AM stations on that thing, all over, like Philadelphia, New York, Pittsburgh.
Do you have an SDR,
Chicago? Patrick? No, I don't. I'd like to get one sometime, but I haven't gone there yet.
Yeah, you know what? For about $150, it's and you can get like a ton of radio stuff, and even the MLA 30 antenna. I just hooked it up so that you get a FM with it. And it still worked for FM. I was able to basically it was an antenna wire out the window, and I was able to listen to FM off of it.
Nice. I haven't tested the radio in my car because the only thing I have that is related to radio in my car is like a little dongle you put into the cigarette lighter and you can plug in your phone.
The funny thing with those things is you can get radio in the traffic from other people. So
actually, I can say that sometimes if someone's using an FM modulator in their vehicle for like satellite radio or to cast their phone, you'll near them in traffic,
you get good radio.
You'll be scanning your radio and suddenly you're picking up some oddball station. And you can usually tell when it's an FM modulated station because it's usually on the ends of the band somewhere, eh? Either like 106 or 7 or 88.7 or something.
Or 90. Well, I have one of those radios, and yet pretty much you got to go to the lower band because there's so many stations, and even like stations from far away, they'll still come in. Yeah. So you have to kind of find something where there's really nothing
adjacent,
nothing.
And do you know how
I used to have a CD player changers like that. And you had to pick a frequency that you're not near a big station, otherwise it sounded terrible, eh? And then I ended up getting, I ended up buying one of those hardwire FM modulators. So I wired it directly into the antenna, and it came through like CD quality, eh?
I do know someone that used one of the analog TV modulators and put it on channel 6, I guess. 6, 4, 5, or 6, the higher end of the FM band, but then he basically
87.7 or something.
Yeah, he had himself a little FM radio station out of it.
Well, that's cool. You can still buy those little FM transmitters. You just plug it into the headphone jack.
Not encouraging you to do anything illegal here. But
no, they are legal. They're like short range for like your phone or your.
Frequency are legal.
Unless if you modify them, I mean, then it will be illegal if you modify.
Yeah,
them.
that's not. You can't do that. But these are like super short range.
But
that's only FM. You can't do that for TV.
Patrick, every frequency are legal if you're not broadcasting. If you're broadcasting, it's not powerful to get out of your house.
Well,
I would love to do like an.
It's like a Wi-Fi. Like you can a Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi can go outside your house. You can get a Wi-Fi extender.
It's a unregulated band, so you can go for. There's a limit to the power, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, but you could also use outside Wi-Fi extenders. I think I talked about a few weeks ago where I had a light bulb that was a Wi-Fi extender. You just put in your outside light, and it basically is another Wi-Fi router. Basically, it just connects to your router and then extends it. You set it up for that,
and that's
and it'll
probably
reach. Yeah,
sorry,
But
Robbie.
at some point you
something
get
you could put up on your TV tower, and then send it across your neighborhood.
Like I think those things work probably on like the 2.4 gigahertz band. Same with and then there's also like 5.8 gigahertz. So they still make video senders that work on those frequencies. Say if you wanted to run a wireless signal to another TV in the house.
Yeah,
are they
If you use
analog?
2.4, it's analog. You just use RCA inputs.
But they work on those frequency. Those
Yeah,
are
they have them for
those are better
5.8
than
and 2.4.
those are better than any UHF old school little system that you get. Isn't it right? Is it right?
I do have them, and I found the 2.4 gigahertz one I bought. I haven't tested the 5.8 yet. I found it works well, and like with my Wi-Fi router, I was concerned about interference, but it doesn't interfere because it's using different channels within that frequency,
Can you
or different.
can you see the frequency it uses on your cellular phone? Because there's some application on your phone that will give you all the transponder used by your Wi-Fi.
Mhm,
You put your phone on a Wi-Fi or a tablet, and you see every broadcaster
Hmm.
and his channel. So, from what I understand, you will see that too. Is it right? Don't you know?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but like I do know that like the sender, you have 4 channels you can select from on it. But then like on your Wi-Fi router, I might be wrong about this too, by the way.
You
But
think you're
doesn't
13?
that work? Doesn't it work like like a cordless phone would work, where it would automatically switch channels if there's interference? Does
Uh,
a Wi-Fi router work like that too, or not?
yeah, and he will
Or your
also
phone works like that, or
he will also discuss with other broadcast other routers to share the bandwidth. It's a well integrated system, so they can
okay,
together they will
yeah,
maximize the bandwidth of the air. So
yeah,
it's it's kind of always you will see that real time on a spectrum analyzer. It's
yeah.
always switching like that. You can never follow your which one is which if you're not following the SSID uh,
Okay,
of your antenna. So if you just check on a spectrum analyzer, you see the broadcast point, and everyone is over the place because they're
hmm.
all fighting for the frequency, So
But
it's
it's all moving smoothly.
I'm not sure, but you
Or-
end up feeling it smooth.
okay. Well, I was
it
going to
feels
say
smooth
that's
as
probably why I
user.
don't have any video sender. That video center doesn't have any interference. Maybe that's why, because it's
It,
constantly switching.
it probably also
Yeah.
switching. If it's the only one who doesn't do that, so you won't see in either case the any problem.
Yeah.
Because he can nullize, he can use one frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be the rotors that gonna have to work with that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a matter of fighting for your space. So
But it's switching frequencies within the band, eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
But they have a main band from what a main frequency from what I understand, because
Mm.
you always setting up your router on some channel. There's about 13 channels, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how they switch and all, it's a matter of telecommunication, and
Mm.
I don't have it right off my head.
Mm.
So I
It
was
works.
it at least it worked.
Yeah.
They call it a Wi-Fi analyzer. I'm not sure if you're gonna see what I mean, but
Is that
I'll
app?
bring up your
yeah,
picture.
Wi-Fi analyzer. I'm not sure. Okay, there's no signer right now. It's my fault. So at least you can see at the bottom
Mm.
there's a 14 channel, you will see all those picking up at their place. So you can know the name, the SSID, or the name of your neighbors, and who's your on your C-band, on your band, on your frequency. So if you're on the 6 and everyone is on the 6, I will say stop by the 4 and stop fighting, and you will be you will, if you stop fighting with others, you're gonna have less problem having your Wi-Fi, So the bandwidth, but it's also by itself sharing the bandwidth. So it's a matter to be precise on this, to be right on the spot on what I'm talking right now. You gotta go to Wikipedia and do some reading.
It keeps everybody happy, peaceful, and happy.
Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta help yourself, and people don't do that. They all keep their routers on channel 6 by default. So that's the problem. So if you have a repeater, like Robbie was talking, you should put your router on 6 and your repeater on maybe 8, so you don't fight yourself.
Everybody's router's on channel 6. That's why you can't get channel 6 on your TV, eh?
Yeah, like no, it was the same.
Not the same thing. Eh? Not the same thing.
I'm keen of the number 6 tonight. Yes.
Yeah, Robbie, I was going to ask you: Are you going to be doing some Antop reviews there? Or?
Possibly. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm just. At first, I was not. I was like, "Wow, I really." They don't have what I would need, right? Because I need a directional Yagi. I don't need a flat antenna for my need. I did have a flat antenna, which I bought for my parents, and I tried it here. It worked, but I found my directional work better.
Try that big boy. I think you'll probably like it.
Yeah, and I'll try.
How far are you from like from the States? Like for channels,
so it's under 100 miles to where the towers are. It's like between 70 to 100 miles to the Syracuse towers. So I'm able to pick up Syracuse, but what I'm interested in doing is getting it consistently. In the summertime I get a ton of channels, no problem. But in the winter time I lose a whole whack of channels because so it could be the antenna too, but also that's atmospheric.
That big antenna has an amplifier with it too, eh?
Yeah, the one antenna I use has an amplifier.
Okay.
Does those amplifiers do really work compared to CBand?
It seems to make a difference. It depends how strong the channel is. If the channel is really strong, then it actually will degrade the signal.
Okay.
Because it'll over amplify it basically, eh? But some channels it helps, at least from my experience with it.
So you should have an auto gain on that.
Well, Leo and I were talking about that earlier about some amplifiers that actually have a variable gain. You can like a car stereo amplifier, you could turn the gain up and down. Nice. I got one I bought a while ago and haven't done anything with, but it's got one of those. It's got a knob on it to adjust the gain, eh?
Yeah, that's kind of a nice thing to have because sometimes you want to bring your gain down.
Yeah.
Because it over amplifies. And one thing, like the program you use for radio, GQRX, it has an LNA controller. So you can control the gain on the LNA, and usually it's from the receiver point. But what I find with that, if you're listening to FM stations for FM DXing, and then I hook that up to my TV antenna, I can hear stations that I can't even get in my car from far away because I can turn that gain up for the far away stations, and then I listen to radio stations from really far away.
But it makes sense, Robbie, that it's working for frequency modulation because it's actually what the computer can do. It can work with the frequency, but not the actual amplitude. So you're better. It will not work on AM station. You will need a real one, I think.
Yeah, it works for FM. It does work for short waves to an extent, but not as good. It works a lot better on FM, but that because with shortwave I'm using a down converter, or is it an up converter? I have to use it. They call it an up converter, but really I don't know who brings it down. It changes so instead of receiving 60 megahertz, it basically makes it all the lower band channels, like all the lower band, like AM radio and shortwave, CB, and all that 11 up to 11 meter.
It's using that what you call a band. How do you call it for to change your frequency, to change your band?
Here, I got it right here.
Sure, just show.
SDR. Well, it says it's an SDR, but it's the converter HF.
So it will be more pricey to have a software radio that is capable of seeing higher frequency, from what I understand. Your computer or
no, you just have to buy like the little it's like it looks like the SDR, but it's like a converter, so it just converts the signal, so you're able to receive the shortwave and the AM and all that. It's not the greatest for AM, and a lot of people have said on the forums that they're not really built for AM, but you can get certain shortwave frequencies is really good for, and then other frequencies you might be better to have like an actual radio that's built for them.
But if you want all the frequency, like I'm radio amateur, I have here that goes from 30 to 30k kilohertz, I think. What you get? Can a software radio do that also? Is it possible?
Oh yeah, I can basically get with the software defined radio. I can get AM radio all the way to 30 megahertz with the converter on, and then if I just want to disconnect the converter and change the L and B, the input settings, which basically is kind of like a satellite receiver.
You will have a better ratio for your signal if you remove this. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so, there's not a you know what the system needs is a dissect switch, so I can switch between my HF converter to my regular converter, so then I don't have to unplug it all the time. I don't know if there's a switch to do that, and if there is, they don't have the driver for it in Linux, because Linux they don't. I just have to manually disconnect it and reconnect it.
That would be handy, though.
It's unfortunate with Linux because the fact is telecommunication are using more Linux than any Windows. So why we don't get more on Linux, I don't understand. Because
Windows is everyone that is using that, even though Linux is the even better operating system.
But you gotta remember, Robbie, that the new Windows 10, I think, or Windows 11 is dual system right now. You can install Linux stuff. There's a base for installing Linux directly on your Windows 10, from what I understand. I never used that, but it's not emulated or anything. It's like a new kernel somehow. What maybe Patrick knows.
It's a symbolizer. It's symbolizing the software.
Is that so? So it's still not.
It's not real Linux. It's emulating it.
It's emulating it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, I've switched to Debian. This is my last video. I was doing. I went with Mint, and then I installed Debian 11 on my computer. I'm actually quite happy with Debian 11. I've been using Ubuntu, and I've used Mint for a long time. And Debian, what I like about it is I have multiple different desktops. So right now I'm using KDE as my desktop, but I can run Mate, I can run Cinnamon, I can run the Ubuntu desktop.
You can I think you can even run NSCDE and
yes, yeah, I can run a whole whack of the environment.
You can run black box.
Honestly, I'm planning on switching to Sparky Linux or Zorin OS, because Ubuntu 22.10 is causing the issue.
Oh, did you see the Linux Mint post where they said they're gonna dump what's it called? a system D, their init system. They're gonna destroy it and they're gonna make it without system D.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Are real Unix boxes, isn't it right? This is not.
No,
I thought
no,
he
this
was
is
talking about
Because of
VCC.
that, I can't even use KDE because it just crashes because of that bug.
But stop messing with the fake Unix and get yourself a Mac OS operating system. Because your Linux stuff are fake Unix. You know, a real Unix is IO.
all right. Something happened to Patrick's line there. He was not talking like a crazy man. Anyway, we lost Patrick there. Anyway, it is 10:05. Hey guys, I'm gonna be on Discord. Hopefully I got the link here. Did I make a link? I put it in the chat room. No, that's the other thing. Let me just make
Anybody wants to see, I'll probably eat my steak as well while I chat in Discord. So
yeah,
I could use that. And my problem was the kernel is too old for my computer.
Honestly, I kind of want to switch to Zorain OS because I kind of like it on my old laptop that I had.
Zorain?
Yeah, Zorain.
it's too late. It's so late I can't even figure out how to invite people. I know how to invite people, but
Yeah, but Zorain's another Ubuntu clone. They're basing it off Ubuntu.
Honestly, my new distro that I'm making, I quit I kind of discontinued XOS and made a new distro that the aim is to actually make Ubuntu more stable. Honestly, like, I kind of like the new Linux project that I'm working because XOS was a pain to work on.
sorry guys, I don't know where the invite link for in Discord is. I'm too tired to figure it out.
Robbie, you should get some sleep.
I'm gonna be going general copy link.
It's been a wild night. You've had to be a referee and keep everybody keep everybody in check here tonight, eh? No disqualifications.
Hey, I got the link right here. Hold on. Give me 1 second to post it.
Oh.
Actually, I have 2 Linux distros. I have another one which is focused on gaming, and the other one is to improve Ubuntu. But
all right, are we on? Oh yeah, Wolf's already there on. How do I share a Discord link to a server? They changed it on me because that stupid Discord wants it always.
It's you gotta click the little icon of the channel.
Okay, I'm on the icon. I'm inviting people, but it's making me invite people I already know. I don't want to invite.
And then it says invite people, and then it says what people you have. Just ignore all that, and then it says or send a server invite link to friends. And when you click copy, and then you paste it in the chat.
Oh yeah, I gotta edit the link so it's okay. Yeah, they changed it, so yeah. All right, copy. Here's the link, guys, for Discord. So if you want to join our Discord satellite server, if you're watching on, I don't even know what people are watching on. I guess I should go to the. It doesn't tell me here in this restream. Anyway, who cares? It says I got 15 people watching. So yeah, I'm gonna put it over. We're gonna bring it over to Discord. If you guys want to chat, I'm gonna go to bed soon. So talk to you guys later. I'll end the stream, so we'll talk another time. All right.
Thanks a lot, Robbie. Take care,
all right.
eh?
All right, bye.
Thanks, Robbie.
See you guys.